Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, cats and kittens, welcome back to the dark side of the podcast. Thank you. We got to rebrand. I think we're just going to rebrand as Aegis TV or something like that, Bill. We've spent years pushing everybody else's stuff. Time to push ours. So, yeah, we might just change that up and be Aegis TV. At least, you know what? Nobody would have trouble finding us on YouTube. That's the feedback I've gotten more than anything else, is they simply can't find it. Anyway. Podcast, your home for rational crypto news and objectivity, leaving emotion at the door. Talking about what we like, why we like it, and where we see it going. We are not offering financial advice. We are telling you what we do, and that is all. We don't slow down. We don't let up. Full speed is our only speed. I'm your host, Scott, pragmatic investor who has won and lost fortunes. Joining me, as always, is the greatest producer of all time, the one, the only, the mighty Bell. How are you doing today?
I'm ready to get this day started. How about yourself, Scott?
Well, my day starts at like 4. I mean, that's when you get the believe it or not, most of the really good leverage action happens before everybody else wakes up. You got to be, you know what? You can be smart or you can be first, and I have a tendency to just be first. So that's when it starts, man. Look, money's important to me, and if I got to get up at 4, sure enough, not a problem. I'm retired, so I can go take naps. So that kind of works out. Anyway. Here at the podcast, we have a tendency to talk about what others are not talking about and bringing the focus onto use case cryptos, because as we know, these are what drive the market and bring innovation to a world that desperately needs it. The status quo, it's no longer acceptable. It's time for a technological revolution. Welcome to crypto, and welcome again to the podcast. And there's, I don't know if this thing is updating, Bell, because I'm seeing that we're broadcasting right now to 0. Is that correct? Am I even going out on YouTube?
You're going out.
Okay, that's all right. That's weird. And just for giggles, we're broadcasting over to Live Peer again. Now, I want to support blockchain products. I did find that a little bit funny, though, that as soon as I had posted that up, that hey, look, we're streaming to Live Peer right now. Shish from Omniflix responded to it. He said, "Hey man, look, we're permissionless. It's coming. Permissionless streaming is coming. Big announcement before the end of the week." So, yeah, look, we're gonna go where the product is, man. That's really all it is. I want to support as many Cosmos things as I possibly can, but we don't want to do YouTube anymore. We want to do everything but YouTube. So to do that, I need I just need a place. I just need a stream key and a RTMP ingest server, and that's it, man. We're good to go. So and yeah, Restream allows us to put in custom ingest servers, so we can literally go anywhere. And yeah, so we're actually pushing out there to the Live Peer server right now, just because I think it's cool and it doesn't cost me anything extra. But we it's not just us tonight, guys. It's not just me. It's not just the Bell. We also have the one, the only, the big boy, the JB. How are you doing today, sir?
I'm good, man. How are you? Thanks for hopping on as always.
Oh, dude, man, we like talking to you, dude. You're a hoot, and you give us this nice. I noticed that you have a little bit of an accent. Is that Spanish? What is that accent? Is that Spanish? Is that Egyptian? I can't quite peg it.
Go again, man. Another guess, man. Another guess.
Yeah. No, you give us that international fit and flair in Kenya. Yeah, it's a Kenyan accent, which is funny because I've been to Kenya and they didn't sound like you, dude. I mean, it wasn't quite there, but you give us this international flavor. Yeah, home of the podcast, where we are internationally recognized all over the world. So, yeah, man, how are you doing?
I'm pretty sure that's Irish that I'm hearing.
I don't think so.
It is Irish. So. Yeah, Irish.
I would have said something like Chile or Brazil. But I don't get out of the house a lot more. I don't spend a lot of time touching grass, dude. I'm crypto. It's 24/7.
I think you need to go visit a few places, man.
That's kind of like the kicker, brother. Look, I assume you got the accent, so I assume you grew up there. I know you're not there now, but I assume you grew up there.
I was there for forever until about like 2 weeks ago, and just moved there a couple of weeks ago.
Okay, so like if I was just to fly into, say, Dublin, I assume that's your big airport. If I was just to fly in there, go rent a car and start driving one direction, hit the coast, because any direction I go, I'm going to hit a coast, and then head back to Dublin. What are the odds that I actually make it back alive?
Oh, pretty high, man. Like
Yeah,
Irish
are
are
they good?
friendly people. Just don't insult the Guinness, like, and then all is good.
Oh man, see that's kind of the bear, dude.
That's like the only place you can get an authentic Guinness. Hello, why would you
Well,
insult it?
well, I mean that's kind of the kicker, though. I'm not a big fan of Guinness, and I don't really care for Irish whiskey. So obviously I'm going to order it, man. I'm in Ireland, so I'm going to order whatever's local. Do you got a local something here? I'm pretty sure that they do.
I'll drink the Guinness for you, Scott.
Okay.
Just slide it over to me every time I empty my pint, and we're good.
Isn't that part of the Irish hand grenade? Isn't that what it is? It's
Irish
Guinness.
car bomb, yes.
It's Guinness, some kind of Irish whiskey, and then it's a cream something or other, right? Is that right?
Bailey's, I'd say Bailey's.
Bailey's. All right, yeah. So obviously,
I'd imagine.
Obviously,
it's usually Guinness. It's usually Guinness, Jameson, and Bailey's.
That's it then, man. Look, we got our drinks planned. I just need to know, will I make it back alive? And I'm not even going to bring a map, dude. We're just going to head one way and just see what we run into. I don't want to do the tour.
During the summer, like the West Coast is pretty amazing. So like if you were to head out there, pretty beautiful place.
So West Coast, not so much north. I should not drive terribly north.
And north's nice as well, but just like a little bit different.
That's what I'm looking for, dude. I want to see castles, brother. I want to see castles. I want to see go to places where there's not a lot of internet, where they're just kind of the way that they are. We have those places here in the U.S. too. It's just they're all in the flyover countries and nobody visits. But dude, you could drive. Have you ever gotten over to the States? You spend a lot of time over here?
I don't spend a lot of time over there, but I have been. I've been in Florida, been in Chicago, been in Boston. So I've been in a good few places, like, been in New York. So seen a good bit of America, or I think I've seen a good bit of America. I'd love to go down to the South, down to the country music.
Yeah. Now, where you want to come is Des Moines, Iowa. See, that's where I am. I'm in Des Moines, Iowa right now. In Des Moines, Iowa, you've been to Florida, right? We're just like Florida. You would think that you were still in Florida. If you were over here in Des Moines. But we have something that a lot of people don't have. You can drive 15 minutes any direction out of Des Moines, and you are in the middle of nothing. I mean, literally, there is nothing around you. And if you keep going, you run out of roads here, man. We love it. It's nice and quiet. It's safe. People don't really disappear here. So, yeah, man, good times.
Well,
all right.
If you want to go to Nashville, you should see about going to NFT Nashville in November.
Oh, sweet. NFT Nashville, maybe they'll make some country music NFTs or something.
It's actually an NFT conference.
Dolly Parton will release her NFT collection.
Wouldn't that be awesome?
I don't think we'll be seeing Dolly Parton.
Yeah, Belle grew up around there, so it's real easy for her to kind of fit in. But I got to ask, Belle, where's the damn accent? Because I have been to Tennessee, and they don't sound like you. So can you drum that accent up, or does it only come out when you go back home? Is that what happens here?
Let me keep talking to JB a little more, and it'll start slipping out a little bit.
See, and that's what we need. But that's, hey, that's what we're here for, is to talk to JB. So JB, a lot of sideways action going on right now, man. And I'll pull up the mighty Bitcoin chart. Tons of sideways action, and I get it. You see these big peaks, the big green and red candles, and you think that mayhem is loose, but it really isn't, because Bitcoin's been more or less holding in the range between 58 and 61, and that is, for all intents and purposes, sideways action on Bitcoin. I mean, it is just trading sideways. Now, that is that's brutal for these inflationary tokens, particularly anything that's real heavy up against Bitcoin, which is, just about everything. So it's brutal to these things because they keep printing more and more tokens. The tokens themselves, every time they do it, there's supply and demand kicks in, and these tokens bleed out. So they need Bitcoin to do one thing or another. Now, I imagine it's kind of similar in the world that you guys occupy over there on Levana. That sideways action does not really get it done for you. Or am I completely misunderstanding what you do over there, bro?
No, we trading volumes have actually been pretty solid now over the last month. I'm actually going to bring up, we got some stats in. One of our team made some stats, I think, in the last 30 days or 90 days. trading volume on Levana has like doubled. So it's just like people are obviously coming over, starting to try it. Like really, it doesn't matter what the price action is doing. It just matters whether people want to take trades or not. Obviously, during more volatile periods, people are probably going to take more trades, but people seem to like to fancy their chances of predicting the market no matter what it's doing, you know?
Sure. Well, I mean, you guys, your money shot is the fees, right? That's what Levana, the protocol, the business end of it. You guys are all about the fees, right?
Yeah, no, for sure. So for us, like it doesn't particularly matter like what types of trades people do. Like in terms of the LPs, they provide the liquidity. And when the traders open trades, the liquidity and the potential profits are drawn from those LPs. So they're betting against the LPs ultimately. So if traders lose, LPs win. If LPs win, or if traders lose, LPs win. And if traders win, then the LPs lose. But on average, LPs seem to do pretty well. But there's obviously those exceptions and some traders who just keep those profits rolling, you know.
Yeah, and honestly, that's why I stick around you guys so much, because you're the don't come line. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter really what's going on there. You guys are generating your personal profits, the Levana business end of this. You're making, you make vig on the fees, dude. That's where you guys kick it. So up
Yeah,
or
well,
down, it doesn't.
we're just here to let people trade, and now we have like the DAO, and the DAO even collect a portion of the fees that are generated, a small portion, but I think it'll increase over time. And they can like have governance proposals. They can vote on what they do want to do with the treasury. If they want to distribute the treasury, we've had a few distributions of like Atom, BTC, a couple bit of vested LVN to the stakers of the DAO, LVN stakers. So yeah, cool things going on, you know.
Oh yeah. So which portion of that now, you guys have a token, you got the Levana token. So which portion has Jonathan really digged up or drummed up a way yet to drive any percentage of the Levana profitability over to the Levana token? Or is it still just kind of purely governance? And I mean, I know you distribute it because I've gotten my ass kicked the last few, and I've gotten some. So I know, big round of applause there. These candles, dude, are vicious to leverage traders that go big, and I go big. And when I say big, if you will give me 25x, I'll take 25x. There's a reason I'm doing this, dude. I'm not doing this because
I think some of the markets have 50x, man. Like, you know, you're not going hard enough.
No, I know. And but dude, have you actually done a 50x trade yet? Have you seen how fast that thing moves up and down, dude? It is lightning fast. I mean, like frightening. It's like, oh my God, I just opened the trade and I'm down $1,940. It didn't move. I mean, the price itself didn't move. But when you're that heavy with that much leverage, man, that thing just booms. And it's great. You know, we're going to do some streams on that. We're probably going to do some active streams, leverage trading streams. And for us to do it, to get people interested, I've got to go heavy. I've got to go 30x, 40x, 50x. People are going to want to see those numbers move up and down quick. So, yeah, I'm going to have to take advantage of those. Now, typically those are the USDC collateralized pools. So I'm just losing cash. I'm not even losing tokens. I'm just losing cash. But yeah, man, those things, I've been doing that for years, man, and it is difficult for me to pull the pin on that Irish car bomb because, damn, I mean, 50x, dude, that thing goes quick. Yeah, I mean, that's what I'm saying, brother. Do you leverage trade? I mean, do you actually do it?
No, I do. I do a bit, man. I do a bit. That's actually how I ultimately got into working with Levana, is because I started leverage trading on the platform and got chatting to Jonathan and had a few ideas about ways we could like help grow the brand, help and build awareness about what was going on. And yeah, now I'm here chatting to you.
Yeah. So were you successful at it?
Reasonably, like, you know, I suppose like there's periods where a little bit more successful, periods where a little bit less. But you just have to kind of learn gradually over time. You learn how to like manage risk, manage your bankroll, not get wrecked quite so much, even though I still do sometimes. Had a few like, yeah, but like just all the game is just like learn from your mistakes, make less mistakes, and yeah, just try not to be overexposed to the market so that like when it doesn't do what you expect, that it doesn't hurt you quite so bad.
Yeah, and it is a little bit tough right now, dude. Like I'm sitting it out. The last couple of days, I've been 100% sitting it out, man. I am not. That's why I'm not posting on the Discord because I have nothing to post.
It's the great thing about like, yeah, no, 100%. But the great thing about like DeFi and the great thing about Levana is that like you could, there's a wide variety of strategies you could implement. So like we obviously talk about like high leverage, looking for quick moves in the market there,
Yep.
but like a 25x, 50x, even 10x would be pretty high leverage, like, you know, for most people. But like if you want to go high, we go higher, like, you know.
You always
then,
offer me too much, dude.
and
And
then
I hit the sliders real quick, and I'm like, holy shit, I'm at 37x. Oops.
and then you can either go up or down, like you can choose to go long, go short, but then also like you're saying here, sideways movement. Like if the market's not doing anything in particular, you could like open a position both ways and pick up funding rates from your long and your short position. So I was short the other day, had a pretty decent short position on, and I was paying pretty heavy fees or pretty heavy funding rates to the market because most people were short, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it does, man, because that your pools are limited too, and the more demand on those pools, of course, the funding rates are going to be higher, man, because everybody's
And it's
digging
more
on this thing.
so it's also to incentivize. So if the funding rates are, or if the cost of opening a position one direction is higher than the other, obviously it's going to incentivize people to open more positions in the other direction. So it's almost like a self-balancing mechanism to try and like create neutrality in the market on Levana, if that makes sense.
Yeah, and it does, man. Now, my kicker is, I'm typically usually I'm pretty cash heavy, man. I'll sit there and hold about 20% of my total net worth is going to be sitting there in USDC. So you have plenty of pools over there that motivate me. I like Bonk. I don't know why, man, but between Bonk and Peppy, because they're cash collateral positions, so I can just host around with those and I don't have to own those tokens. So yeah, there's you got plenty that are going on over there. But what I do long term, what I've always done long term, and why Levana feeds my my bug pretty well is I extract value wherever I can extract value off from things, and I bring it to other things that I think are more worthy of that capital. And one of the things that I've been doing pretty heavy, and I don't know if you can see the stream. I'm going to show the screens anyway, but I did a video on it today, but it's easier to explain it if I actually show it. So for what it's worth, it's over here on Astrovault. And by the way, Astrovault and Levana are not competitors, all right? They offer different offerings, and there you go. But they have one pool over there that just really gets me going, man. It's their USDC wrap Bitcoin pool. Now, I love USDC. I like Bitcoin. I'm not in it for the ethos or anything like that, but I like Bitcoin because as far as the crypto goes, it's pretty stable. I mean, only swinging 5% up and down. For God's sakes, man, Tesla is doing that now. Apple is doing that. All of these big techs are taking these pretty wild swings. So 5% swing on the largest token that exists. Sure, I'm okay with that. But this one's kind of interesting because as the IL is going to beat it up, I'm happy to hold Bitcoin. I'm happy to hold USDC. It makes sense. And their APR is just out of hand on this one, man, 38%. Now, what do you do with it? That's the kicker. So they pay it out in AXV. I don't want to part with the AXV. The same way I don't sell Levana tokens. All the Levana tokens you guys give me for losing. By the way, it's for losing, Jonathan. You give me that because I bricked it. All right, I guessed wrong, so you give me that. Yeah, but I want to make sure that we're all on the same page here. But I'll take that AXV that I get for this pool, and I come down here to the farm. Now, this is where it actually gets interesting because Astrovault's the only people that do this. If you guys offered something like this, I would do it on you as well. But they have one little pool over here, and it's the Atom farm. So all you got to do is pour the AXV I earn on that pool into this farm right here, and it kicks me out Atom. Now, that's where it gets really interesting, Jonathan. I'm sorry, JB, because you guys have a lot of stuff that I can do with Atom over on Levana, don't ya? There's all kinds of nifty pools having to do with Atom and lots of different stuff you can do with it over on Levana. So the Atom itself, man, look, I don't care. I'm not long on Atom. All right, the one thing you can do on Levana that has almost been sure destruction over the last 60 days has been going long on Atom. That's a problem. Now, as we talked about last week, dude, I don't like to hold the tokens that I'm shorting. I don't like to hold them. Now, Jonathan explained it, and yes, it does make sense. If I'm higher leverage percentage-wise, then the token actually declined in value. I close the trade, I have more Atom. It kind of couples up, eases the pain of the loss. But it's I have no issue doing it because I earn the Atom supporting another DEX, bringing it over to Levana and longing and shorting the hell out of it over there because at that time it's effectively a free ride. And if for some reason Atom spiked, I happen to have a long on Atom sitting on Levana, then I'm going to get paid off on that one as well. But I've really started to enjoy the APRs that you guys are kicking out over there in all the lending pools. I know we call them LPs, but those are lending pools. That's what they are. So earning all of that, which is effectively a free ride, and then getting it into the pools to support people who are using Levana, and you guys happen to pay me for it. There's just not, for me on that one, there's just not a lot of downside to that. I start with a very, very good LP that I move it to a very unique mechanism so that I can hold the token I want to hold and get something out the other side. And then I can roll that right over to you guys and start supporting Levana, because the bigger those pools, the less the fees. It's not going to beat everybody up so much, when you do that. And there's the chance that as long as there's still liquidity in that pool, then you guys can still offer trades on it. Now, I've been shut out by you guys twice so far, that you simply would not accept the trade because the pool got just beat to hell, whether it was long, short. I don't remember what pool it was, but you literally shut me out of the trade because of the mechanisms that you have built into the Levana that you cannot possibly over leverage yourself. You can't do it. If you cannot pay off everything that's in that pool, then you will simply not accept that trade. It's either that, JB, or Levana was broken. So which one was it? When I got that little pop-up that said, we can't take your action right now, what happened?
Well, I hope it wasn't broken, man. But generally, so if there's either one of two things, if there's not enough liquidity left in the liquidity pool to open the trade, it just won't be able to open because, like I said, I think last week, every time the position is opened, depending on the take profit, the maximum profit, set at the moment you open the position, it's ensured that there's enough liquidity in the pool to close that trade and secure that maximum profit for that person. So every person's maximum profits are secured when they open their trade, as in if their targets hit, they'll get their profits, no questions asked, or at least the protocol has ensured that there's enough liquidity to cover that position. But then on the other side, I was chatting about, if too many people are long, the protocol has to balance out or keep a certain balance a ratio between long and short positions to make sure it also doesn't get wiped. So sometimes delta neutrality, if the cap for an excessive imbalance of one direction to the other direction is exceeded, the position can't be opened. But we kind of try and negate some of those problems with cash and carry on some of our markets, and some of these things that we've implemented with relatively good success in some of our more popular markets where this would have happened a little bit more regularly. We do different things, just try and make sure that whenever people come onto Levana, they can open a trade. But the sure thing is when you open your trade, your profits are secure,
Yeah, and that was important, and we've been talking about that one for a good long while, is to make sure that you can pay off the people who actually won. There's no mechanism, or at least one doesn't exist right now, for a whole bunch of the perp dexes to get together to lay off action. So to spread it from, perp A, perp B, perp C, there's no way to do it. I mean, even bookies back in the day used to be able to lay off these very, very large things, and there's really no mechanism for that. So that was, or at least not one that I know of. Do you guys have a mechanism, and none of us are aware of it?
That is ultimately the cash and carry that I was talking about there, if that makes sense. So it's essentially if we have an excessive amount of positions one direction, then we'll try and use or we have Jonathan knows more about this, and he'll be better able to explain it, but we have contracted people who can essentially open positions using other dexes to like balance out is my understanding, but I'm not 100% sure about that. So like I'm not going to try and explain something I don't know.
Oh, Bell, please write that down when we get Jonathan on here next week, because we're going to plumb that. Because if you guys actually, if you have built a mechanism like that, that's big. It's bigger than probably than anybody's going to talk about or notice out here. But that's actually a huge mechanism for you
Now,
being able to.
I don't think we have built it, if that makes sense. It's just we have. Yeah, I'm not even gonna try and explain it. But essentially, if liquidity is really low, we have ways of like trying to increase the liquidity in the market, if that makes sense.
It does, dude. And like I said, this is something that we've been talking about over here for, I don't know, about a year and a half. I think it's important. I think it's critical. I think it is more critical out here in the smaller DeFi than it probably is on like Hyperliquid, because those guys just got cash for days, so it really doesn't matter. But I don't really want to support Hyperliquid. I want to support, Levana and let's keep the money in the Cosmos, guys. All right, this kind of matters. So anyway, guys, if you could, we're going to take a short break. Bell will gather up if we happen to have any questions, comments, or concerns. We're going to get back here and we're going to start plumbing with JB a little bit more. The move over to ThorChain. What all is going to happen on that? There's still a lot of press that's going on around this. People are kind of talking it up. Are they going to be, one big lumped app chain? What's going to happen over there? So we'll come back 60 seconds and we're going to talk about that. And any other questions, guys, you know what to do here, man. Get them in. We will be right back. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, cats and kittens, welcome back to the podcast. Thank you. It's tough, man. There's it could be a whole group of things that are kicking in right now, man. But it is tough being in any kind of reporting space in crypto right now, man. Look, people don't want to hear reasonable and rational things. People don't really seem to react to very well anymore. They just, I don't know, man. The whole space has gotten so jaded. It's really tough. And even when you see something that looks really good, all we're doing is taking it apart. Now, I think that's good for the space as a whole. It's good for the investors as a whole. But as far as just talking about, hey, check out this product. This is pretty cool, man. Everyone we're burnout. I don't know what it is, man. We're all waiting for the new thing. Anyway, Bell, do we have, I know that the chat's not really going nuts here, Bell. Do we have any questions, comments, or concerns?
We have 2 questions, both of them from New Type. So New Type, the first question, did Theta work all right for streaming?
Theta did not work terribly well. Theta is set up as a peer-to-peer, and that effectively means if you don't have 10, 15, 20 people tuning in and watching you, the connection just, it's untenable. I mean, it's so much queuing and just, the spinning icon and stuff like that. And the podcasts, we've never really packed them in. We did when we were still like amp maxis way back years ago, but we've never really packed them in from there. So I mean, we would need a good 25, 30, 35 people on the stream to really give the quality product that we like to do. So yeah, it was neat. But they
also couldn't handle our bandwidth either.
Yeah,
we couldn't stream with quality to them.
No, the best bandwidth I think I could push out there was about 800. It was less than a kilobit. It wouldn't even take that. It was literally queuing me before it would take it. Now we're pushing right now at 3. We have to do that for X. X won't. X does not. It doesn't play well with a higher bit rate. So when we like to go 6 or 12, and YouTube will handle it, but X won't. So, and if we drop one of these things, we get a whole bunch of error reports from anything that we're doing through Restream. It drops the whole stream. So yeah, we have to moderate it. And yeah, we had some problems with data. I love the idea, I really do, but as far as them still getting out, marketing, pushing, trying to get content creators and all that stuff, it seems like they kind of gave up on that. It kind of became sort of a Twitch alternative for, people who want to do it and just have no problem cursing and stuff like that. But as far as any kind of real serious content going on over there, it seems like they kind of walked away from it. It was neat. It was an idea. And it was just never really realized. So there you go. That was my experience. Your mileage may vary. Please carry on, Bell.
New type again. All the chains that are on Levana, Injective, Osmo, Psi, which chains have the most volume and which chain has the fastest execution time?
Well, that's a good question for you, dude.
So like Osmosis by far has like the most volume, and we initially launched there, and like we probably have the biggest audience and user base there. We do have the biggest audience and user base there. I think I have the stats here, but I think over probably like over 90% of our volume comes from Osmosis. So that's probably the biggest one we have at the moment. We're on Neutron and Injective as well, but in terms of like execution times, they all have like pretty fast execution, but I think Injective, in terms of that, would depend on like the underlying infrastructure layer of the blockchain itself. I think Injective put out a post today, like with their recent upgrade, that they're hitting like, I think 0.65 of a second transaction times, which is pretty important. And I think especially when it comes to something like perpetual trading or leverage trading, where people like you were touching on earlier have pretty high leverage, need to open and close their positions pretty quickly, because a few ticks on the price chart can make a big impact in terms of like the price that you get when you place your order. So I think that's why we're on all those chains, because all of them have pretty great transaction costs, all of them have pretty great transaction times. They all give a pretty great trading experience. But yeah, Osmosis by far we have the most volume on, but hopefully we start to pick it up. On Neutron, we have like the new you touched on earlier, Scott, you can come over to Injective and do a lot of good things with your Atom. And like Neutron, the team were involved in Drop, which is the launch that just went out in Neutron. Do you know about
it? Familiar, but why don't you explain it?
It's just a liquid staking. But ultimately people will be able to, they're essentially looking to be the hub of liquid staking on Cosmos, where people will be able to come and liquid stake any token from across the Cosmos, get a liquid stake derivative, and then come use it in DeFi and unify the liquidity a little bit more than having separate liquid stake derivatives on every chain, almost becoming like an integrated like application layer, if you want to call it, or is what I think their tagline actually is. So our first asset we have on Neutron one of our first assets is like the Atom market, backed by Atom, which is liquid staked Atom. And it's pretty cool because instead of like the prices being displayed in essentially, so if you have a liquid staking token, essentially the value of the token captures all the staking rewards to that point. Do you get wrong? You probably don't understand what I'm talking about.
No, I do understand what you're talking about. Yes.
But essentially it's nice because this market essentially is simply denominated in the spot price of Atom, or at least is priced in the spot price of Atom. But like the collateral is in Atom, which essentially will continue to earn you compounding liquid staking rewards, which just makes the trading experience a little bit easier. And also you still get to like open your trades and hold collateral in a liquid staking token, which earns you compounded liquid staking rewards. So small thing that's really nice. And then hopefully, I think the next thing they're bringing on board is TIA. So hopefully we'll integrate that. And yeah, just have as wide a variety of markets as possible for people to trade on. But the biggest challenge for us, when opening markets, is liquidity. if so, that is ultimately the biggest challenge. Probably that's why as Osmosis we have the biggest volume, because we have the biggest liquidity pool there. But the biggest challenge is finding people to come and provide liquidity on Levana, finding users to come and provide liquidity on Levana.
Yeah, and you guys are very competitive. Your APRs are they're actually really, really good right now compared to a lot of other things, but they also come with an additional level of risk.
Yeah, and I'd say the thing we don't really do is claim or display inflated. I think Jonathan touched on it last week, is display like inflated APRs. So the APRs you get are the APRs that are coming from the platform. So whether they change or don't change, at least you can discern that they're real and they're there, and they're not just subsidized by some inflationary token that we're giving people. Like those APRs don't include the LVN token. Like, that's separate. We distributed that to early users of the platform. We continue to distribute it to different incentives at different moments, but they don't make up the core APR revenue or the core APR percentages and returns that people get when they invest in liquidity pools. Like everything you get, like if you invest in a liquidity pool in USDC, you get USDC back. If you invest in a liquidity pool in INJ, you get INJ back. Like it's not, you don't invest in one token and get a hyperinflationary token that has no real utility or association with the thing that you initially intended it for back.
Yeah, you don't pay out in Crescent. That's been our running joke on here for a while. My God, what a shit show. You got the V3 pool to it, or V3 fit and field to it. I'm in quite a few V3 pools, and I mean they're crazy volatile. Particularly, again, these big candles, man, wipe you out, take you out of range. Yeah. But they pay out in what you are putting in. I'm in Ethereum USDC, and the rewards are paid out in Ethereum and USDC. That's what I'm going in for. I don't want them paid out in a DEX token unless I understand that DEX token. I got no problem with the Astrovault when I understand that token, but we've been burned up and down out here just for that thing being paid out in these. Like if you guys were simply paying out in Levana, I wouldn't go into your pools, man. All right, I wouldn't. Because
and probably wouldn't expect you to either,
Yeah, and so I mean, you guys are doing it right. That's what I'm saying. Now, let's talk Thorchain here just a little bit, because you guys are showing up in all these conversations. Now, Thorchain basically bought Kujira one way or another, man. This whole thing is not settled. Everybody's, the knight in shining armor showed up and now we're all saved. It's not exactly true, man. There's a lot more bad debt that's still sitting there. People still can't pull up $700,000-$800,000 worth just kind of sitting there. But what they're going to be doing with that one, it kind of makes it interesting, because Kujira and Levana are now getting lumped together. You guys are showing up in the same conversations, in the same threads, and that's what Thorchain seems to be presenting it as, is, look, man, we're going to have Orca, we're going to have Ghost, we're going to have lending borrowing, we're going to have Perps, and Perps is basically Levana that's getting thrown into that. So when you guys do move over there, and I assume that Jonathan and everybody is talking to the Kujira people, because now that you're lumped into the same conversation, it seems like you guys should all be on the same page. What's going to happen? How are you going to generate, or are these, when you move over to Thorchain, are you going to be pulling from a universal set of LPs that you already have, or are you going to have to drum up new LPs over there on Thorchain?
I can't speak exactly to it, but like I'd imagine as always, it will be like all markets on Levana are like isolated liquidity pools. So like we can't just take liquidity from one market and put it into another market. So when we deploy on Thorchain, essentially it will have to be, the liquidity will be deployed into the individual markets on Thorchain, unless we change or alter the dynamics of the platform as we develop with Thorchain. But as it stands, if the platform, if we integrate on Thorchain and develop as we have developed before, then it will be like, obviously essentially, first of all, the liquidity will have to come from somewhere else, because we can't just take liquidity out of one liquidity pool and put it in another liquidity pool, another chain.
Because it's not yours. That's right.
Yeah, but then and secondly, if it works as it has, all the markets will be individual liquidity pools. But the great thing about Tor chain is like it's very easy to get like native BTC, native Ethereum, native BNB over there. And so it opens some possibilities for some really interesting pools, and some really large flows of liquidity into some LPs on Levana. And then obviously that allows for some pretty heavy leverage trading. Like you can go 50x on everything, man. Give all the LPs your money.
Oh my God, man. I don't want a 50x, dude. Even that makes my spine just shiver a little bit, man. I'll do it. We'll do it for the streams because, crypto needs more entertainment. You want to see entertaining? Watch a 50x leverage trade, man. This is it, man. We're all holding our breath now. I think it'd be awesome. I'll do it with $50. All right. I'm not going to do it with $5,000, dude. I want to entertain people, but not at that expense. That's a little much. But, oh my God, I just derailed myself. Belle, questions, comments, anything? Or are we all nice and quiet here today?
Oh, we've got a question that came in from Disclosure Crypto. Hey guys, could you look at Gary Network?
Gary Network, why? Is that?
It's a live streaming protocol from
what
little I've looked at.
All right, Belle, please write that down. We'll take a look. We're kind of looking for Levana questions. So we got any of those?
G Torres, if I wanted to hedge a position and hold a short for 3 months for, let's say, Bitcoin, is the main fee I'll be charged to hold such a position primarily the funding rate?
Essentially, yes.
That was that was the last.
That was it. Boy, this is a tough one today. Okay, Jonathan. I'm sorry, JB. Brother, look, man, one of you guys got to change your names, man. All right, because you're both J's, dude. I'm all over the board and I get really excited, so I'm gonna mess it up.
That's okay, man. Don't worry. I've been called worse, so it's all right. No offense.
All right, so tell me this, dude.
Get enough Guinness in him and he won't care.
Yeah.
Do you drink Guinness? Do you like Guinness?
Not particularly, man. I've only ever had like 3 pints of Guinness in my life, which is kind of like heresy for an Irish person, but not a big kind of stout man myself. Like,
no, do you drink beer?
Not a huge amount of beer. Like, I'd like an odd margarita now from time to time.
A margarita. How do you alter your reality, JB? Are you more of a heroin, opium kind of guy? No, you could say it. We're all friends here, dude. No one's gonna hold you to it.
How do we go from margarita to opium, man? It's
this is called the this is
no idea.
I'm not sure. I'm not sure if I want to visit Iowa.
No, because we have to. Well, we're the meth capital of like the country. I've never touched it, but I understand. There's a lot of open space here, man. There's a lot of places people aren't, so it's real easy to cook. We've all seen Breaking Bad. No, that's called the nuclear option in broadcasting, when you're just you're trying to focus yourself.
If crypto goes down, man, you've got another career there.
Yeah, cooking meth. Yeah, I'd be really good at cooking meth. Obviously, dude. I keep calling you by Jonathan's name, so it's clear I don't have the focus for that. All right, man. Look, tell me this, dude. What's got you really excited about Levana? All right, look, this is your shill time, and I've never let you guys shill, but I'm going to let you shill right now. What has got you real excited about what's coming up? How we're going to get the word out? All that other good stuff. Because I'll tell you flat out, dude. We're going to drive more people to your platform with this little app that nobody's paying attention to, and I want to make sure that you're going to be prepared to receive them. So what has you really, really jazzed about Levana right now?
I think like everything really, like it's hard to pick one thing. Like, I think we touched on there a couple of minutes ago, possible Tor chain integration. Like, it's not set in stone by any means, but obviously like Jonathan's mainly discussing it with Thor chain and just discussing it with the Kajira team that are heading over there, and they're just trying to figure out how they could make it work. And everyone contributing like their unique skills and abilities to like build something like really cool and useful for all the users that will come. Something that could unlock huge amounts of liquidity, and just bring more users to Levana, but bring more users to like DeFi as a whole. That's one thing that's pretty super interesting. I think on Levana, thing that's interesting at the moment, I've chatted about it earlier, but only briefly, but our trading volumes have increased significantly over the last 30 days. I think it's 75% higher than the previous 30-day period. So seeing increasing volumes around Levana is hugely encouraging for us, but also encouraging probably for DeFi as a whole. Hopefully it's a small signal that volume is starting to come back into DeFi again. So yeah, there are probably a couple of things. And then aside from that, like, we're just trying to keep pushing forward, keep trying to make the user experience in Levana as good as possible, open as many markets as possible for users, and just keep things going strong. Well, like you say, we're the middle layer that just let people trade, and we're just trying to get the best trading experience and get the most liquidity so people can have the most fun trading.
Well, and that's kind of the rub. Where I start really going off in the weeds with effectively everything, I'm going to show a chart over here. It's not Levana. All right. This is a chart, and we all know this token is Atom. This is the Atom chart over the last 3 months. Now, what's happening here, aside from the fact that so many people have kind of capitulated over here and gotten up and just simply walked away from it? The issue that I have with this particular chart, and particularly when it comes to leverage trading over here in the Cosmos, is, like it or not, this is the Cosmos Bitcoin. All right, what Atom does, everything else everything else is going to do, because there are so many different ways that Atom is leveraged all over the Cosmos. I mean, that's everywhere. And when you start throwing LSDs in the mix, which we have, and those things are all over those things. You want to talk about the real Irish car bomb? It's called Atom LSDs. So you have so many things that are kind of weighing down against this thing right now. In effect, most of the tokens that are over there, I feel safer trading Bonk, trading Pepe, because those things are a hell of a lot more closely aligned with what happens on Bitcoin. But there are quite a few tokens that we have over there that are pegged really strongly to Atom, and Atom is kind of bleeding out. Now, I would ask Jonathan if he was on. He's not, so I'm going to ask you. Are you guys having any concerns about the Atom price trajectory? Because your future, everybody's future, is tied up to this token. So do you guys have any concerns with this, or are you well insulated enough from the Atom that its success or failure is not really going to affect you outside of the Atom pools that you guys support? Does that question make sense?
Yes, like, kind of, to some extent. Like, I have no immediate concerns about, like, the Atom price. The Atom price has been going down for a pretty long time, and all the DeFi protocols have still survived and functioned pretty well. I would just say the price of Atom is like essentially a function of the fact that it's almost a victim of, I would say, I'm not going to say the success, but it's a victim of, like, the IBC. It's a victim of what it created ultimately, which is it wanted to create, like, Cosmos, the aim of Cosmos, to create this, like, network of app chains. But I think the problem for Atom is none of that value ultimately gets driven back to the Atom token, or there is no mechanism to drive value back to the Atom token. So the technology is great, and the technology is being used by all the different app chains, some really great app chains, like Osmosis, Injective, Kajir, we're going pretty strong. And obviously they're integrating now, hopefully, with Thorchain and these things, and plenty of other, like, really strong, like Neutron, strong networks. But ultimately, those tokens and the activity on those networks don't drive any value back to the Atom token, which I think is ultimately probably a problem for the Atom price in the long term, if that makes sense. Because people aren't building on the Atom chain; they are building app chains with the Cosmos technology and the IBC stack. And none of the value that's created on the chains or it seems to be going back into the Atom token, because that's not where the DApps are being developed.
No, you almost sound apologetic when you just explain that. I agree with every word, dude. You're not wrong. You're 100% spot on. You almost sound apologetic when you're saying it, man. Look, you don't have to apologize.
Not necessarily. Like, I think it is what it is. Like, just the technology, and I say to everyone all the time, like, the technology isn't the price. Like it's not to say we don't wish the price would go up, but the technology is working as it should. And I think over time, the market will just value it at what it values it. And if there's a reason for the market to value it higher, the price will go higher. And if there's not, it won't. And that's just how it is. That's why leverage trading is this, man. You can make money either way.
Yeah,
or you
and
can
that's
just hold and stake and contribute like into other methods. Like you can contribute to the economic security of the network by staking. You can run a validator node. You can do all these sorts of things. But ultimately, like the market will ultimately decide what is successful and what is not. But things just are as they are, you know?
Oh yeah, I say it all the time, man. It is what it is. No, I hope it does well. I don't really see any particular path for it to do well. I wish I did, because if I did, I'd be longing the hell out of it on your very platform. So yeah, man, if I knew or had that good fuzzy feeling, dude, I'd be all in there. I showed you my mechanism for generating Atom, and I would love to actually put it to serious work as opposed to just selling it for cash. I would love to go that direction, but right now my best use for it is shorting it on Levana, is holding the Atom because I have to hold the token, and shorting it on Atom. And I don't want to buy it beforehand, so I have to look for a mechanism to generate it with assets that I consider are more valuable, so that I could take the waste that Atom's right now is like my nuclear waste, and I have to find some place to safely dispose of it, and I safely dispose of it over on Levana, man. Look, you guys have been a gift for me, man, an absolute gift for me. But the kicker with it is that there are so many tokens that are tied up there in Atom. Atom is still going to be the big dog. It always is. What Atom does, everything else is going to follow. I mean, there's Osmo's not sitting down there where it is at 40 cents, and it wouldn't be sitting there if Atom itself was still at like $22. Osmo wouldn't be sitting down there that low. And when you start looking at everything that's tied into everything over here, it makes it a little bit more difficult to leverage trade Cosmos tokens. It makes it real tough. So I love the fact that you guys are going over to Thorchain. I really do. It's got a lot of visibility, man. A lot of heat.
I think everything's tied into everything else, regardless. Like, you know, like all kind of speculative financial assets are kind of, the prices seem to be pretty correlated with each other, but just with varying degrees of volatility. So like obviously stock markets have way more liquidity in them. It doesn't get so hit so hard when liquidity like gets sold, or when like people go short on the assets. Crypto, Bitcoin, has more liquidity relatively than the rest of the crypto sector, so it doesn't get so hit so hard relative to the rest of the crypto tokens. And then like as you cascade down the list of tokens, where like the market caps get increasingly lower and the liquidity pools get thinner, or the liquidity gets thinner, obviously relatively larger amounts of liquidity hurt the price of those tokens that little bit more. But it's just a case of probably market maturity, you know.
Yeah, and it is. Now we Eric and I go very, very philosophical on this a lot of times, and it's all about product market fit. That's kind of the thing, is that you've got to appeal to consumers. And there's so many actual crypto products out here that simply do not appeal to consumers. They don't even know what it is. They'll buy the token because it's a token. Oh my God, it just dropped 38%. It has to be going back up. And that makes sense to people. Like I said, it plays well in your world, dude. It absolutely plays well in the world that you guys occupy, is this, this incredible volatility. And I did say that we were going to get a little bit philosophical, and you gave me the thumbs up. So this is the philosophical portion of it, man. I apologize. Yeah, these prices are dramatically correlated because everybody's looking at the same thing and leveraging everything against everything. Now, very few of these actual products have external revenue streams. They are simply tokens. That's what they are. They go up as people buy them. They go down as people sell them, because they don't have a lot of external revenue capture. So that is sure, we're early. We can say that. We could also say that it's kind of a failure of developers to actually build something that non-crypto people want to use. Now, I've always long considered the money shot for the crypto world is to go out and start farming Web 2, to be able to, and what I mean by farming Web 2 is provide products and services that they will pay for. Now, that is external capital that is going to be flowing into the crypto world without these people actually ever touching crypto or even knowing that it exists. It means just leveraging the blockchain technology. That's clearly me and Bell's wheelhouse, because those are the apps that we're building, and then finding nifty ways to be able to come up with a token and push extra Web 2 value to it, just so that we can say, look, there is another way of doing these things. Now, that is the best way I can think of to onboard all of these people that we keep talking about, these Web 2 people that we keep talking about. But the one universal thing that is Web 3 and Web 2 compatible is people's willingness to gamble. People like to gamble. They will gamble when they ain't got nothing. They got a nickel in their pocket, and they'll throw it at the wall to see who can get closer. That's going to get both of those nickels. It doesn't matter. So, yeah, getting the Web 2 people over here is absolutely critical, but whether or not they are actually utilizing or purchasing Web 3 tokens, but getting them to bring their external Web 2 cash over to this world so that we can all leverage on, get value from it and leverage on top of it. So I love where you guys are positioned, dude, because you are, it's not judgment. It's nothing. All you are doing is offering what is effectively a TradFi product in a DeFi world. Because what you're doing happens every day on Wall Street, up and down every single day on Wall Street. You're not offering anything different. And you got to admit the success of these Wall Street products are monumental, because we're not talking about billions of dollars. We are talking about trillions of dollars. So it's real easy for me to get behind a product that actually has a workable model that they can build off from. You're not doing anything different, man. The only difference that you guys have is that you've managed to insulate yourself from the risk side of it. You don't have as much risk because those are not your LPs. All you're doing is setting the table, getting people to sit down, handing them the menu, and saying, go for it. So I still think the longer this goes, the longer you guys can keep going, the longer you can maintain, the more profitable and successful that you're going to be at it. That's the best part. So yeah, that's again, man, a little bit philosophical. I'm sorry. You said did I shut you up, bro, or you're not weighing in on this
good,
at
man.
all?
Like, I suppose all we can do is build a platform that hopefully people like to use. And like you were saying, it's just, that's the purpose of DeFi, is just decentralized finance. It's decentralizing traditional financial instruments that people understand. So leverage trading, but even more simply, there's things like lending and borrowing platforms that are being built, and payment infrastructure. Like that's one of the main ones, like, or on a simpler level, again, that's being built and being improved on by blockchain and Web3. And I think probably we have to get away from like talking about like Web 2, Web 3, and just start talking about like on a product level. It's like, you like to leverage trade. I'm just using leverage trading because like we're talking about leverage trading here,
sure,
and I'm from Levana. But it's like, rather than talking about come use this decentralized leverage platform simply because it's decentralized and simply because you're using a centralized one, it should instead be come use this platform because it's just so much better than the platform you're using. And the reason it can be better is because it's built on blockchain, and crypto is used, or digital payments is used as the fundamental building block of it, which means like payouts are instantaneous, no KYC, completely accessible no matter how much capital you have in your account. Like you can both provide liquidity and open trades. You can participate completely comprehensively in the platform with no restrictions. And like the platform has been fully audited, and we've put every effort into ensuring it's as secure as possible. And just it's there for people to use. In the same way, I think it's going to get to the point where essentially people won't know they're using blockchain, but they are using blockchain simply because blockchain is more efficient. I was actually chatting on a podcast with a guy called Bernd Banksy, who is the founder of Burnt Zion. They're like a chain. They're focusing on like chain abstraction. abstraction is essentially where some of the more complex aspects of blockchain and crypto, they are trying to like remove the complexities associated with these things to get more, to encourage more mass adoption or encourage more a broader user base. So in terms of wallet creation, that's going to be done with like your facial recognition or like a fingerprint. In terms of, let's say, things like transaction costs, I would say they'll begin to become more absorbed by products and blockchains themselves as they seek to integrate new users. Like, you know, when you go onto Facebook, you don't pay for every like that you do on Facebook, but Facebook wants you to bring more activity to their platform. So I would say combined with like easier onboarding, there's going to be ways of abstracting and removing complexities and obstacles to people interacting with the technology to the benefit of the growth of the protocols and the products. And I don't know how far away we may be from that, but like, I think at a certain moment, more products will start integrating blockchain technology, but people may not even realize it's built on blockchain. It's like when people send emails, like you don't go to people, you go, will you email me? You don't go, will you Gmail me? Will you Hotmail me? Will you like iMail me? It's just like email. Same with like message. You don't go, will you Apple message me? Will you Android message me? It's just like, will you message me? And I think the same thing is going to happen with blockchain. It's just going to be the products will be the use case, but it's just going to take for, I'd say, some companies that already have significant network effects to start integrating the technology, and then we'll probably see more people coming on chain, if that makes sense.
Well, it does. You just described Aegis. You just described our app. Do you have an Android, or are you an iOS guy?
iOS, man, iOS.
Oh God. Okay, we'll get you the APK.
Send me an Android, man, and I'll try.
We're porting right now. No, I just think it's funny, dude. You just described everything that we're building. That's why I hope you give me a good Web 2 friendly landing page for Levana Protocol, because you're going right on the ticker, dude. You're going right there. You're going to be right there on top. So if you're interested in this, Levana is going to come across. We just need a good Web 2 landing page for them, and then what you guys have to do is figure out a way for somebody to generate a wallet and abstract away without them knowing that they're generating a wallet. You do that, we'll get you the people, and then it's completely up to you to do it. Anyway, Belle, looks like we kind of had time. Do we have any other comments or questions? It looked like it was a real slow stream.
We don't have any other comments or
questions. Perfect. Okay. I'm going to ask you one more question, JB, because we got some people coming on tonight that we're going to ask them the same question. I'm only asking you this because I already know the answer. Are you guys selling the Levana token to fund development?
To fund development? No.
To pay your people? Are you dumping the Levana token to pay your guys?
No.
And I know I'm asking, but we got another stream coming up tonight. I'm going to ask them the same damn question. In this case, we know the answer, so it'll be a very interesting stream, dude.
Yeah, no, the tokenomics are out there and they're fully transparent, and like no team unlocks have happened yet or anything like that. So like, and ultimately it's a case of like everything is out there. It's fully transparent for people to see and decide if they want to hold the LVN token or not. But simply, like if they hold the LVN token and if Levana continues to grow, and if we talk about like today on this stream, like the scale to which DeFi can grow, and if we believe that Levana can capture a significant portion of that volume, then I think the current value of the LVN token will look like a bargain, but the only time will tell, as they say.
Yeah. So anyway, guys, I appreciate you joining tonight, man. It's slow out there right now, dude. Nobody cares. So it's a little bit rough, but I consider these times to get the most accurate information that you're going to get anywhere, because we have no reason to bullshit on any of this. So I consider these extremely valuable. Thank you for those who joined us. Thank you for anybody who joined us on Twitch. I think we did have a viewer, so we're cracking that Twitch world. Appreciate the X folks, and if anybody tuned in on live here, appreciate that. We're gonna be back tonight with the Packet team, man. PKT. It will be a very interesting stream. So we're going to be back with them tonight, 1800. If you'd like to attend, you guys know where. I'll set it as soon as we're done here. But that's it. Belle, if you could, please talk us up. Take us out of here.
All right. Again, ladies and gentlemen, for those of you who dropped in and watched us over your lunch hour, we cannot say thank you guys enough. We do appreciate each and every one of you guys who took the time, and even more, the people who asked questions today. Now, again, as Scott was saying, we are going to be back on at 6 p.m. Central Standard with the Packet team. In between now and then, if you guys have any other comments, questions, or concerns, definitely don't hesitate to reach out to Scott or myself, Scott at ThePodcast.com or Bella at ThePodcast.com, and we'll get those answered for you. Again, we can't thank you enough, guys, and we'll see you tonight.
We are dropping new videos and podcasts every Sunday, Tuesday, and Thursday. And be sure to look for us on Instagram, Twitter, and Parler at ThePodocasts. Also, visit our page at ThePodocasts.com, all one word,